This is Free City.
Huh. Looks an awful lot like Pittsburgh.
Huh. Looks like someone is reading the trivia section of IMDb again.
There are a few issues here in this shot. First, this calendar appears to be some kind of rearrangeable, probably magnetized calendar system where the human user swaps around all the numbers every time the month changes.
Are you just oblivious to the missing 4?
Second, and perhaps most importantly, are these 3 living plants in a shelf where they would never receive sunlight. And you're going to be all, maybe they are fake plants, and I'm going to give you the finger and ask why someone will buy 3 fake green plants and then place them all on a super shadowed shelf where no one could ever enjoy them.
Seriously? Because they wanted to.
This bank stamp says today, because in the video game, is this today stamp suggesting time in this game never advances beyond a single day? Because I don't think it is. I think his bank stamp might just read today no matter what day it is. But that's just lazy. The point is that I have questions.
Probably because it's a video game. Much like Facebook and YouTube will change the timestamp based on the day or time of day. We just never get to see the previous ones on another day.
I know the woman I'm looking for. Oh, let me guess. The one with the offbeat sense of humor and obsession with feel-good diva pop. Yes, that's her.
No wonder you can't find her if those are your parameters. How are you supposed to know anything about her taste in music unless you happen to bump into her while she's singing said feel-good diva pop? Oh, Jesus, that's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it?
We find out later that Key's programmed Guy to look for Millie because she fit his parameters. So this wasn't weird at all, considering that Guy is a computer program.
You really British, or is that an accent filter?
Movie casually invents accent filters, and now I want one so I can call my mom and say, I sound like I'm from London!
This movie came out in 2021. Accent filters have existed as apps and as part of social media apps for quite some time. In other words, tell me you haven't used social media extensively without telling me.
Clip 56 might interest you. No, I got a question. What's so special about this video clip anyway?
You just said clip 56 might be of interest to her. So what the f*** did you mean by that if you hadn't actually understood her interest and pre-watched the video clips?
Right, because you manipulated the scene. She's been looking for proof of a secret level and he found it.
What have you got?
Proof of a secret level. That's what you're looking for, right?
You got a video or a screen grab?
Nope, but I know who does. I've got a map, shows the location of his stash house.
She didn't tell him why though. Most people won't ask if you're willing to pay them to find something, and Millie is paying them. He also doesn't even have clip 56. He has a map to the location of clip 56. She has to break into the facility on the map in order to get the clip.
As Mariah Carey's fantasy plays in his head while she lip-syncs it, I have to wonder why they went with a pop song that is literally 25 years old, as opposed to anything in the last decade that might be more recognizable to today's college kids and teenagers. Gen X can't be this movie's only intended audience.
So you are reading the trivia section, just not all of it. Also, Jeremy acts like using an older song can't also be done to give a new generation an appreciation for that song. Does he know that Mike Myers used Bohemian Rhapsody in Wayne's World? Bohemian Rhapsody, a song that was released in 1975 and experienced a resurgence in appreciation in 1992 because of Wayne's World. Also, Gen X wasn't this movie's only intended audience, unless Jeremy thinks a lot of Gen Xers are playing Fortnite.
People with sunglasses don't talk to people like us.
What? Human-controlled players talk to NPCs all the f***ing time, often in fully animated cutscenes.
Tell me you're not a gamer without telling me you're not a gamer. Most gamers don't spend time walking around a world talking to every single NPC. They go to the next NPC that they need to in order to get information to finish the mission or side quest. Guy isn't that kind of NPC, and neither is the bank security guard.
The movie suggests you could play the most popular online multiplayer game ever via some random coffeehouse Wi-Fi, and movie is hilarious in its lack of coffeehouse Wi-Fi experience.
I can't necessarily speak to this, but even if the game was a little stuttery, Millie isn't there for the missions. She's gathering evidence. Nothing about her playstyle so far says that she needs the game to be completely responsive at all times.
We usually don't put the chairs on the tables. One small coffee over 4 hours, girl.
Jesus, how entitled is this waitress? Coffeehouses are definitely where people go to order a single coffee and mooch free Wi-Fi. It's literally keeping the entire industry afloat. Go sell crazy elsewhere, cranky barista girl. We're all stocked up here.
The waitress didn't feel entitled. She's probably tired after a long day of work. They were closing, hence her comment about the chairs being on the table.
Are you closing?
Yes. We usually don't put the chairs on the table.
Millie has been there for 4 hours playing Free City and only purchased a small coffee, but she also clearly just lost track of the time. I'm wondering why she spent so much time there, since it's shown later that she has internet at home. I'm going to give you 2 sins for this, since you basically send the barista twice anyway.
Good morning, Goldie.
We see him say good morning to the fish a dozen times in this movie, but we never see him feed that f***ing thing.
You know what else they don't show? Guy changing into his pajamas. But it happens every day, doesn't it?
He looks up and sees the girl he likes again walking directly away from this bank heist. Why would she be here? She had nothing to do with this scene. It's stupid that she would be here. She's literally only here to provoke our protagonist.
If you were paying attention, I know, look who I'm talking about. Anyway, you would have seen that in the previous scene she was walking toward Guy and Buddy when she exited the alleyway. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this scene is a continuation of the previous one. She just logged out at the end of the previous scene and then logged back in the next day and continued her journey. Except now, Guy would be able to see her from the bank.
I was going to sin the fact that this is a pile of Xbox games without an Xbox in sight, but the more damning sin is that this is a pile of Xbox 360 games, and I don't remember anyone saying that this movie was set in 2006.
Jeremy doesn't keep his games around. That's all.
Also, the fact that this copy of Dark Souls is set here, as opposed to being rage launched into the drywall, means we can be fairly certain it hasn't even been f***ing played yet.
Also, according to Wikipedia, Dark Souls was actually pretty successful.
Okay, here are the magazines on sale here. Nuts, Free City Crime, Vacation, Live Your Best Life, and Fashion. Not a single magazine about aliens and conspiracy theories. No rag about sports even.
And it's a video game. Of course they aren't going to have every conceivable magazine that's available in the real world. Is the sin that game developers don't spend enough time on all the details or something else?
Hey Mouser, check this out.
What's up, Keys?
Mouser and Keys.
CinemaSins, folks. Sinning nicknames.
Yeah, so you just boot the trash-ass noob, you ban him for life, you're done.
This script feels like it was written by somebody who had to ask their kids what a fortnight is.
I'm sure game studio employees never use the same lingo as the players. Ever.
Hey, 40-year-old virgin! Get over here!
Let me get this straight. In order to find a player who they believe is hacking the game, they have to physically play the game and drive around until they find him? Okay, the reason they can't find Guy is because he's an NPC, but they don't know that. So why do they think finding and killing the player in-game will work any better than continuing to search the game's servers and booting them that way?
There's no indication that they drove around until they found him. In fact, it's not that they can't find him, it's that they can't find a user account attached to him. Since they can't find a user account, they also can't find the real-world location of that person in order to ban them.
Somehow these very experienced gamers both managed to miss the unarmed and unshielded target standing right in front of them.
Unshielded? Maybe for a second, but he jumped behind a car.
The f***?
What? It's surprising that he didn't stay behind the car and instead ran off? Tell me you're not this dumb.
If they can presumably make any weapon appear, why not a bazooka? Or, damn it, why are they even chasing him? Just delete the building he's in. Inception his ass already.
Because as they said to Antoine further into the movie,
you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna kill them in the game. Turn off respawn. Kill them dead, now.
But that means any players who die will be done for good. They'll freak out.
they don't want to kick out existing players. They're basically trying to get him out with a surgical strike. You're jumping straight to what Antoine wanted to do over a silly skin. Also, I think Jeremy missed how this part is a parody of The Matrix. I mean, it's not like they use extremely similar music and sequences.
Come on, blue shirt! I'm never gonna die!
And that was the heartbreaking story of Blue Shirt Guy.
But how? Won't killing a player in-game just cause them to respawn somewhere else? Did they somehow encode the card to permaban any player it touches?
No, they don't respawn. Not according to the game's rules. According to the game's rules, if you die, you get kicked. In order to not get kicked, it appears that you have to save and quit. Are you even paying attention?
There's so much wrong in just this single frame. Let's start with all the Pop-Tarts and single-serving Frosted Flakes boxes. Then let's move on to the 3 different hot sauces on the counter, next to some tea bags and straws and salt and pepper shakers. This movie has never worked kitchen before.
Jeremy doesn't like having a variety of food items available for employees. That makes me wonder how he treats his own employees.
That we'd be lucky to give it away.
That's what's so charming about Keys.
This shot seems to have been specifically framed so that Millie's sudden introduction would serve as a dramatic reveal. Kind of makes sense in the context of the movie, but not in the slightest for this interview at a gaming convention.
Tell me you didn't understand this scene without telling me you didn't understand this scene. Also, Millie's dramatic reveal took place much earlier in the movie, so it doesn't even make sense here.
Found a clue. It's on a clip in a gamer stash house. All I need from you is to get me in there.
I'm no coding expert, but I am still struggling to figure out why anyone has to be physically playing the game to get shit done. Okay, Millie's heard a rumor that there is something somewhere in the game that's weird, but why does she assume that's her stolen code? Shouldn't she be searching through the game's code itself to find the proof she needs?
Millie isn't assuming anything. Antoine bought the code and then shelved it. except that then he put part of it into Free City. This is literally explained in the exact same scene you're sinning.
No, he bought it and then he shelved it.
Antoine swiped our AI engine to use in his dumb shooter.
Stop manipulating the scene.
The sunglasses that allow players to see missions and other game elements respawned with him after he died? Why?
Or he just waited at the bank for the daily bank robbery and took them from another player the way he did the day before. He knows how it works now. There's literally nothing stopping him from doing it.
No, I mean, how do we get from there to wherever this is?
You mean the portal gun?
She has a damn portal gun? Why didn't she just use that to get up to the generic bad guy lair?
Probably because portaling closer to a bunch of guys with guns that are shooting is actually pretty dumb, unless you also have something between you and them.
Beautiful grenades.
Guy knows that this is a grenade, but decides to pull the pin anyway? Thankfully, it doesn't work, because he isn't a high enough level, but he certainly didn't know that.
So what's the sin here? This makes the movie internally consistent.
Sometimes forget not everyone you meet on here is a sociopathic man-child.
My reaction whenever I find something vaguely positive in the YouTube comment section.
Jeremy sins something that's not a sin of the movie cliche.
There's nothing about this girl in this whole movie that suggests she'd be likely to collect motorcycles.
This scene took place at about the 1/3 mark of the movie. There's also nothing up to that point that would indicate she has a vast storage unit of arms, yet here we are. Also, it's a game. People do a lot of things in games that they wouldn't normally do in real life. This isn't a sin of the movie, you just didn't like it.
Look, I'm glad Guy has $300,000. I really am. But this ATM interface is both too busy and too bland. And is this ATM owned by the municipality of Free City? Why would a city have its own ATMs?
Too busy and too bland? There's 2 buttons on the entire screen. It doesn't get any less busy than that. Why would a city have its own ATMs? It wouldn't, but this is in a game. They either get permission from a real bank to brand the ATM, or they make some up. Looks like they took the easy route.
I have 3 words for you. Blue shirt guy.
Somehow Guy's leveling up and method in doing so is newsworthy enough to be on a national breakfast show? How does anyone even know it's happening? It's not like Guy has the ability to stream this shit on Twitch.
You literally answered this question in your next sin. They hired real YouTubers and Twitch streamers to do this. But what really made it newsworthy wasn't that he was leveling up. It's that he was leveling up quickly by being nice. This is even stated in the movie.
BSG is leveling up and at a record pace by playing the hero.
Since you cut that part out and gave at least 3 sins for the various items, I'm giving you 5 sins.
Keys reluctantly decides to help Millie and does this by unlocking doors inside the f***ing game, instead of using his programming genius to dig around in the software of the game itself to find their missing code. Okay, that would have been a much less exciting movie, but at least it would have been shorter.
Because he's a game admin and not a game developer? In case you don't know the difference, the admins don't have access to the source code. The developers do. Besides, he doesn't want to lose his job just yet, and hacking in would be far more illegal than simply opening an in-game door, which is something he already has the access to do.
I was trying to steal a video clip, now we're trying not to die.
Who are you talking to?
If Keys can hear her talking now, why didn't he hear her say,
Blue shirt guy?
How do you know he didn't? Just because he didn't say anything at the time doesn't mean he didn't hear her.
Should definitely go!
But why? So far, Millie has had no problem kicking all of the ass. So why is she put off by Discount Van Helsing and even further discounted Rocky?
She isn't put off by 2 fighters. She's put off by the other 3 fighters that have gotten back up, and she will be further put off by the fighters that continue to spawn in. Why stay and fight if you can get out when you're clearly outnumbered?
Thankfully for the hero, Guy somehow knows how to spin out a motorcycle.
He's not level 1 anymore. He's level 102. It doesn't take a lot to believe he can do this now.
He literally can't see anything right now.
And he doesn't need to see anything at that moment.
Antoine, we're already way behind porting over the skins from Free City 1.
Skins? Don't even worry about that. They won't be usable in Free City 2.
Paying people to work on something that you have no intention of using. This must be how the Google Glass team felt.
Antoine never had any intention of using any of the skins. He tells Keys that in the very next scene.
City 2 was backwards compatible. It was in the commercial. You said there'd be the same characters in the sequel.
Well, here's the thing. When I said that, I was lying.
Comparing this to Google Glass is stupid, especially since Google Glass hasn't been stopped or abandoned. Also, I'm sure you've never worked on anything or paid someone to work on something and then decided not to use it ever, right?
At a swing set.
Ice cream and a swing set will now break down this guarded adult into an unguarded, free-spirited child.
Yes, because she loves those 2 things, as we find out at the end. This entire area was built for her by Keys.
She makes out with an NPC, and I'm here for it. People should be able to make out with other people, video game characters, porcelain dolls, crudely drawn likenesses, Polaroids.
Is this your attempt at being woke? Are you forgetting that she still doesn't know he's an NPC? At this point in the movie, she still thinks he's just some amazing hacker that's wearing an NPC's skin.
The first real artificial intelligence.
I think you are utterly glossing over the history of Teddy Ruxpin and Haley Joel Osment.
Teddy Ruxpin and the Furby that you seem to be forgetting are not AI. They were recording devices that would repeat things back. They didn't learn. They heard phrases and eventually spoke them back.
2 is not an update.
It's a replacement.
Exactly.
Wasn't that always the case? Free City 2 was never an update. Wasn't it always a brand new game? If it was an update, wouldn't it still be called Free City but have a subtitle like Redemption or Freevolution or Returns or one of the other obligatory R words?
No. Free City 2 was supposed to be an update. The company only found out it was a replacement when Antoine told everyone he was lying. You are way past that scene, so this sin makes no sense.
I've looked, Keys. You know I have.
I know you have, but now that we both know about Blue Shirt Guy, maybe he can help?
But there's no need to keep looking. The next information you need is on the video clip she left back at that player's base. Why is their next step in any way in question?
Because now they're trying to save the life of an AI. They are no longer searching for proof of the existence of their game.
You're a non-player character. A background person. Someone designed to make the game more fun for real people.
Putting aside the fact that there is no need for Millie to tell Guy any of this in the first place, did she have to break the news in this brutal way? She's just told a newly sentient AI that the main purpose of his existence is to be a punching bag for the humans that created him. Does she want Skynet? Because this is how you get Skynet.
1. There is a need. They need him to know that he isn't real and that they're trying to save him. 2. How exactly do you tell someone they aren't real? Think about that for a moment. His entire world just shattered and he's about to be erased, and you want him to break the news nicely? Get real.
Earlier, Guy and buddies said having a beer on the beach was their favorite thing to do, but on all these trips they never once threw a rock into the ocean? This force field of convenience is barely off the beach. Have they never dipped their toes or gone for a swim?
No, they haven't. Because there are a couple of NPCs that don't do anything outside of their programming. There are eating stalls along the beach. They probably go to one of those and just enjoy being outside because that's their programming. Also, did you notice that there's no one else around? That's why.
That building! That's fake! This street! It's fake! That car!
That was surprising, yes, but not shocking, because at this point, I believe even the car manufacturers were tired of his street preaching bullshit.
And that was a parody of Meet Joe Black. I haven't even seen that movie and I noticed the joke.
Oh, no. How do you hold this thing?
I know Buddy's thing is that he drops his gun as soon as the bank is robbed, but wouldn't he at least be programmed with the ability to hold the damn thing?
No, because he never needed to.
God, someone needs to clean this room. Disney appears to have masturbated on almost every square inch of this wall.
He says as he points to a single poster on the wall.
Okay, let's talk about this Twitch streamer's desk. He has Jack Skellington, which shows good taste. The Cheetos bag is unopened, and he's drinking Canada Dry. This is not a gamer, this is a fucking narc.
CinemaSins, folks.
So he's like crazy hot. Oh my god, totally. I'd hit those pixels hard.
Does she mean? You know, I've already spent too much time trying to work out the logistics here.
You say this like it hasn't happened before. Maybe you weren't around when people were attracted to Tan Wei in Attack of the Clones. A fully digital character created for a movie, and people had the hots for her.
I realize you need a visual for this moment in Guy's life, but this suggests that when a computer server reboots, the game freezes in place for 30 seconds before going dark, instead of cutting straight to the black dark emptiness.
Ever been online when a server goes down? Because this is pretty much what happens.
You said this clip showed a place you'd seen before. I need to know where. The data's been erased, but it's in your head.
It's in your head, in your head. NPC, 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 C.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that is not a sin of the movie cliche.
Also, here we go again with the master programmer trying to talk to the program instead of diving into its code to find the required information.
She isn't the head programmer. She has no access to the code. What are you not getting about that?
Gather round! Thank you for coming.
How did you tell them all about this meeting? Did you go door to door? A big sign or radio announcement would have been heard or spotted by Antoine, right?
It's not a big city. He probably told a few people and asked them to spread the word. Everyone knows each other, so that wouldn't be a big deal. And no, Antoine wouldn't have spotted any of this until he found out from YouTubers and Twitch streamers. Are you even paying attention to the movie?
It can be whatever we want.
You can have whatever you like.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that is not a sin of the movie cliche.
Can't all be you, Guy.
That's not true. What's inside of me is inside of you too.
Why do any of these NPCs remember that Guy is special and famous? The game was literally just rebooted, and everyone lost their memories. Guy himself only remembered a moment ago, and that was only because of a kiss.
No, Guy lost his memories. The rest of them didn't really have any memories to erase except their programming that they know Guy. He's also the only one of them that has leveled up besides the coffee shop girl, and he's there with the sunglasses person. All of these are reasons for them to think he's special and famous.
Where the hell is everybody? Why do you f***ing care? Just take the money, you dumbass!
Probably because he doesn't have access to the vault and needs the NPCs to open it. He probably also wants to get points for beating up an NPC and can't get them if none are around.
As hard as I can, but her account's spoofed.
Oh well, you can't beat that. Spoofed accounts are basically magic bullets. No one can outsmart a spoofed account.
You're manipulating the scene. Antoine wants Molotov Girl kicked, but Mouser can't do it because the account is spoofed. This sin leads to the next one because all of the NPCs have decided to strike. I'm just going to give you 2 sins right here.
So they can recode the game on the fly so that buildings fall to pieces, but they can't do anything about a player using a spoofed account?
They aren't recoding the game to make the buildings fall apart. They're likely using developer commands to do this. Those commands are typically there for testing things. There isn't a secret command to kick a spoofed account.
Fortunately for our heroes, Mouser has the creative abilities of a man who has narrowly survived an imagination lobotomy, and will continue to throw cars and create havoc everywhere except the exact route that they need to take to get to their destination.
Mouser is making the buildings fall apart. You seem to want him to create a new building where none exists. That's not how games work.
It's really gonna bake your noodle is finding out that all this was done with practical effect.
That's refreshing. But why did you sin it?
Okay, who did that? Who is doing that?
How many employees here could have the know-how and access to change the game's fundamental code on the fly? Can't be more than a few, right?
No one changed the code. Keys just made the road turn into a ramp. Lots of employees could have done that. Do you think Keys and Mouser are the only admins around?
This is where he's counter-hacking from? Behind a column?
Why is this a problem? This way he has access to the company network and it makes him much more difficult to trace.
Which leads me to this.
So he coded a way to take all the building's materials in Free City and fly it over to the beach to make a bridge out into the ocean? I really don't think that's how video game code works.
No, but that's how cheat codes work. Do you think they don't have cheat codes built in for testing purposes?
Are you supposed to be worried about Guy's safety? Like, he's self-aware and they keep calling him AI, but he's just a bit of code. He's been hit by multiple cars and survived God knows what else all movie long.
If Guy gets killed at this point, it's over. They have no way of getting him to the island in time. He won't respawn in the morning since the game will be wiped out by that time.
It somehow deflects lightsaber blows with his bare arm wrists. What the f***?
Did you miss how they said he was super powerful? You know you can't even kill Darth Vader in the Star Wars games with one lightsaber hit, right? Dude probably has millions of hit points since the character isn't ready.
Okay, how do these f***ing glasses work? I have given them a pass this entire movie because Guy is an advanced AI, so I was willing to buy that whatever this bullshit interface is, it recognizes him as being alive and gives him player status. But this steroid overdosed walking tree trunk of a code here doesn't even have a completed program. Why would an interface built to allow players to see and interact with things that NPCs can't be compatible with literally any of the NPCs that would break said world once they interacted with it?
The glasses aren't the interface. The glasses are an in-game indication that the person is a player character. The NPCs aren't supposed to wear them. The reason Dude becomes confused is because he only has half a brain. He's basically like a toddler with shiny objects in front of him.
It's amazing. Who would have thought that so many people would just want to watch video game characters instead of shoot at them?
So, to clarify, this is a movie about the creation of a video game where you aren't actually a player in the game at all. You watch the characters evolve as they go on a variety of adventures spanning all sorts of genres, and all while you sit there and, eat popcorn?
No. It's a movie about a game where you live in peace with other characters and NPCs. The objective is to simply live instead of trying to kill each other. Think of it like Minecraft in single-player mode and without the monsters.
This girl's realization that Keys is in love with her is as adorable as it is annoyingly obvious.
Because it took her the entire movie to realize it? Yep, you're right.